Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about Mexican tamales, the history and recipe step by step. So, who has ate a tamal before? Let me rephrase that. Who knows what a tamal is? So, today I'm going to tell you briefly a bit of history on the upcoming tamales, what role they play in our Mexican culture, and step-by-step recipe on how you can make a delicious homemade tamales. So, let's get started. Let's talk about when the first tamales were made and who made them. So, where did tamales come from? Tamales first came about in the early 7000 BC. Tamale is a Spanish word that comes from the Aztec language known as Natal. Aztec and Mayans stuffed and wrapped individual tamales. They were easy on-the-go food, especially for warriors or when they had to travel long distance. Tamales are individually wrapped in different type of leaves and have a variety of ingredients such as chicken, pork, and a little bit more, which we'll talk about in just a bit. So tamal is more than a simple food. It has history, it has a background, and it's part of our culture. Tamales were a religious ritual offering by the Aztecs to numerous gods. They became a traditional food for Mexican Americans, and they are popular in a culture food that is prepared during the Christmas holidays and special celebrations. When tamales are made, they bring the family together. They tell stories, and they become memories of how they were made, when they were made, who they were made with, and it becomes a tradition. So, who exactly made tamales? In the beginning, women and young female children were the ones to make and cook the tamales. They would make the filling, they would make the masa, and they would prepare them and get them ready for everyone and for the men when they were on the go. Nowadays, family members, close relatives, and friends gather together to make these labor-intensive tamales. These tamales take time and they take preparation, but it also brings all the families together. So it's not just one person making the tamales, but it's several individuals coming together to make them as a whole. The tamales are not just made in Mexico and in America. They're actually made throughout the world. In different regions, tamales have different names. In Nicaragua, they are called nacatamal. In Guatemala, they're called paches and chuchitos. Bolivia and Ecuador, they're called humitas. In Colombia, they're called bollo. Cuba, Mexico, South and Central America, we call them the tamal. In Michoacán, Mexico, they're called corunda. In Veracruz, Mexico, they're called sacajahuil. And in Venezuela, they're called ayaca. So what exactly is in a tamal? We're going to talk a little bit about the diversity in ingredients that are in a tamal, and depending on what region you are or what culture you're in, the ingredients change and the structure changes a little bit of the assembly and the making of a tamal. So the fill, the wrap, and the cook. So Aztecs used to actually fill their tamales with turkey, frog, rabbit, fish, fruit, beans, and squash. Mayans would fill their tamales with deer, turkey, iguana, fish, squash flowers, or even beans. These individual tamales are wrapped in either corn husks, banana leaves, avocado leaves, bark, or paper. And these tamales are made and can be steamed, grilled, roasted, boiled, or fried. So they have a variety of ingredients depending on taste and culture. Alright, so let's get ready for the fun part. Let's see what ingredients are needed to make tamales, and then step by step on how to actually make tamales. So the first thing you're going to need are the filling ingredients for a tamal. You can either use beef, pork, or chicken. You're going to need a clove of garlic, ancho chile pepper, lard, water, cumin, and salt. Now to make the masa for a tamal, or dough, you will need these ingredients. You will need maseca, which is a corn flour, lard, dried corn husk, ancho chile pepper, water, and salt. So before you prepare anything for the tamales, you must prepare the corn husks. These must be soft before you're ready to make the tamales. So, first of all, you're going to get the corn husk and you're going to separate them and place them in a large bowl of water. You're going to let them soak for at least half an hour or until they are soft. While they are soaking, then you can start preparing the filling in the masa. Now, preparing the filling. The filling is a little tricky because it's to everyone's taste. So a basic way to make the filling is to, first of all, you're going to put chile ancho peppers in a pot of water and bring them to a boil until the chilies are very soft. Once they're soft, you're going to remove them from the heat. You're going to drain the water, remove the stem, and open them up and rinse all the seeds out. Afterwards, you're going to fill the blender with a cup of water, add the chilies, and blend it into a paste. Once you have the paste, place a large pot on the stove, set it to a medium heat, and add the lard. Once the lard is completely melted, place a chunk of the meat or chicken and garlic in the pot. Bring it to a boil while mixing and shredding the chicken or the meat after every few minutes. Once it comes to a boil, lower the heat and slowly mix in a bit of the chili paste into the mixture and add some cumin and salt to taste. Keep mixing until it's a little bit of a stew-like mixture. Alright, now to get our hands dirty. We're going to prepare the masa. First of all, we're going to melt some lard in a pot. While the lard is melting, we're going to place some maseca in a large mixing bowl. After the lard is finished melting, we're going to add the lard and a little bit of water slowly into the maseca to form a soft dough. Afterwards, we're going to add a few tablespoons of ancho chile paste just for color and taste. And we're also going to pour in a bit of salt and mix to taste. We're going to mix all this with our hands to make it form into a nice soft dough. To know if the dough is ready, you're going to place a bit of dough in the back of your hand. Once you remove it, if there's an oily base left on the skin, the dough is ready. If there is not an oily base and the dough feels kind of tough, you're going to add a little bit more of melted lard and water until the mixture is soft and oily. So now that we made the filling and the masa for the tamales, it's time to put them together and assemble them. So first of all, we're going to remove the corn husk from the water. I'm going to place them on a towel and pat them down just to remove the excess water. We're going to grab one husk and place it in one hand. After all, we're going to add a spoonful of masa and spread it on the husk evenly, leaving about 2 to 3 inches from the top corner free of masa. That way you can fold it. After you put the masa and spread it, you're going to add a bit of filling in the middle. And now it's time to fold them together. We're going to fold one side in and then the other side overlapping that side. Once so, you're going to fold in the unfilled corner. Once you have assembled all the tamales, they're ready to cook. So once the tamales are assembled, we're going to place them in a large tamale steamer. But before that, you're going to have to prepare the steamer. In the steamer, you're going to place the insert and fill it with water up to where the insert ends. You're going to grab foil and form it into a ball. And you're going to place it right in the middle of the pot. That way your tamales will stand upright. You're going to apply one tamal at a time with the opening up, standing and leaning against the foil ball. Once all the tamales are assembled inside, you're going to bring the water to a medium heat. You're going to cover the pot and steam for about an hour to 3 hours. You're going to also add some more water if needed. The tamales will be ready when the masa is firmly cooked and not doughy. So you can take out the tamal and open it up. And if the masa still seems a little doughy, place it back in and steam it for a little longer. So once the tamales are fully cooked, they're ready to eat. And they're best ate if they're warm. Not tamales. Tamales make great memories. They're not just a simple food. They're food that make up the Mexican culture. They have a greater meaning than just a simple dish. The recipe is passed down from generations to generations, just like this recipe was passed down from my grandmother to myself. And these are some of the tamales that she made for me. Tamales bring families together, and they create great memories. They're part of who I am, which I'm proud Mexican, and it's part of our culture. And these are made not just by ourselves, but by family members, bringing the whole family together on special celebrations, especially on the holidays.